Welcome to SmartTerm. Today, we'll be discussing how to generate timetables using our timetable generator module. As you can see, I'm already logged in, so please ensure that you are logged into your SmartTerm portal and navigate to the timetable generator module as you can see on the left. If you do not have access to your SmartTerm portal, please check with your administrator and ensure that you are able to log in and you're seeing the timetable generator module as expected. So let us begin. When we first navigate to the timetable generator, you will notice two tabs at the top of the screen, one for shifts and one for teachers. As you add information into the system, more tabs will be created and they'll be populated. If you're an existing client with SmartTerm and you've had previously created classrooms and subjects added in your teachers, you will see more tabs right from the beginning. To get started, let's create our first shift. Click the Add Shift button and enter the name of the shift. Now in general, if you only have one shift across your school, you can give it a standard name such as General and create a single shift and you're good to go. If you offer other multiple shifts, then you can go ahead and you can create each shift one by one and you'll be able to cycle through them and add in the relevant time slots. So we'll go ahead and create our general shift to start off. Once the shift is created, you'll notice that the days of the week are present, but everything is blank. We have to now populate our shift. Now there are two ways that we can add in our time slots to the shift. First things first, we can click the Generate Slots button, and that will generate a few generic slots that we've put in, incrementally spaced out by 1 hour, spanning a typical school day. Use that option if you just want to quickly get started, and then you can edit the slots afterwards. Alternatively, you can add in the slots one by one. For my example, I will click the Generate Slots button, and as you can see, I have populated my slots. Once the slots have been populated, you can adjust them accordingly. So, I'm seeing 8 to 9 a.m. here. That's my first slot of the day, and they span 1 hour going right up until 3 p.m. This is not what a typical school day may actually look like. For example, I would want to add in a morning devotion before 8 a.m. I can click the Add Slot button and I can add in that morning devotion period. I choose the shift and the second option, but we only have one in the system so far. I choose my start time. Here I'm putting 7:30. And my end time. Here I put 8 a.m. Now, since morning devotion is an empty slot, meaning it's not a time during which classes will normally be conducted, I choose the option to block it for all subjects. That ensures that no class will occur during the time that I've dedicated to morning devotion. We want to have it every day of the week. By default, you can see each day has already been selected, but you may remove a date as you need, or you may add it back as you need. Go ahead and click Save, and that slot will be added in. If you need to delete or edit a slot after it has been created, you can click the pencil icon or the trash icon as needed. For example, I want to adjust the first slot of my day to be for 45 minutes. I can click the pencil icon. It starts at 8. However, I wanted to adjust the time to make it 8:45. I go ahead and click Save, and my slot will be adjusted as accordingly. Now let's say I wanted to add a break in between 8:45 and 9 a.m. I can click the Add Slot button. I can add in my break. I can block it for all subjects. I set my time. Now from 10 to 11 a.m., I may want to change the slot to be a longer lunchtime. Instead of deleting the slot altogether, I can simply click on the pencil icon and block the subject. I'll rename it to lunch and I'll hit save. As you can see, the slots can be adjusted as is needed. They can be deleted by clicking the trash icon. And new slots can be added in by clicking the Add Slot button, filling out the information, setting the duration as needed, and clicking Save. This is how we populate our shifts, and this is the first and one of the most important steps in generating our timetable. The timetable generator will only take the available slots and try to place subjects in that time. In this case, that would be slot 1, slot 2, slot 4, and slot 5. Alternatively, you could have just started and added in each slot individually, and in that case, you do not need to click the Generate Slot button that we had. But the end result should be the same. You should have the framework of your timetable mapped out so that you can fill it in and the timetable generator can populate the subjects as is needed. Once we've achieved this, we can move on to the next step, which is to create teachers. Click the Add Teacher button on the top right and fill out some very basic information. We've added in the first name, the last name, and the gender of the teacher. We recommend also adding an email address for the teacher, as this will allow you to quickly onboard them into the system and send them a welcome email so they can log in. There's additional information as well that you can fill out if you choose to, but this is not required. So we'll go ahead and create this teacher. Now, I have created a teacher. I can go ahead and I can edit the teacher if I need, or I can remove them if they were created by accident. Once a teacher is created, I can go ahead and add the rest of my teachers as well. Once all the teachers have been added into the system, we can move on to the next step. Here, you will see rooms. Now, for the purposes of generating our timetables, sometimes we need to manage space. We need to manage a room. For example, at your school, you may have a library that is shared by multiple classes, and you want to ensure that that class is never populated by two different groups at the same time. For example, grade 1 and grade 3 should not have library at the same time. To get around this, we create rooms. You click the Add Room button, and you can simply name the room. Click Save, and the room is created. Now, when we add in our relevant subjects into our classrooms or our pools, we can assign a subject to a room, and that will ensure that that room never has a conflict. So go ahead and create all the relevant rooms that need to be managed. Please note that you do not need to create a room for your home classroom unless that homeroom is shared by multiple classes. We navigate to the Classrooms tab next. Classrooms represent a collective group of students. If you have a school going from grade 1 to grade 6, you would be creating classrooms at each grade level. Once you're in high school, things can get a little bit more complicated because students can be grouped together not only in a classroom, but they may also break off into option pools. We'll discuss that in a moment. Using the Classrooms tab, go ahead and create your home classrooms. Click the Add Classroom button, add in the name, select the grade level, select the teacher, select the shift, and click Save. This creates your classroom. Now, once the classroom is created, you will have the option to create all the subjects done in that class. If you have a situation where all the students in the classroom do a subject together, simply create the subject under this classroom. However, if you're in a situation such as in high school, particularly from 4th form onwards or 10th grade onwards, where students may need to break off into different pools, then you would be using the pools function. I'm going to go ahead and create another classroom just to help understand this. To make things a little bit easier, I will also create an additional teacher. Once the teachers are created, I can navigate through each teacher and I can edit them as needed. So now, let's head back to our classroom. We created grade 10A. I will adjust the teacher here. And I will create an additional classroom called grade 10B. Now you can see I have a few different classrooms created in the system. So, starting with my grade 1 classroom. I click on the action button and I can click Add Subject to create subjects for that classroom. The subject creation tool allows me to create subjects in bulk. I can go ahead and add in mathematics. I choose the grade level. I choose the subject area. I choose the teacher. I choose the number of times per week that class occurs. So let's say we do math 4 times a week. I can give preferences if I want class to occur in the morning or the afternoon, but I'll leave this as any time. And I can choose a room if I need to. I click the Add Subject button and I can add the next subject. Once again, I choose a grade level, the area, the teacher, the number of times per week, and I go ahead and I add in another subject. Let's say that this only occurs once a week. Anytime. In this case, I want to manage a room, so I choose the room, the library, and I go ahead and I click Save. Now, I've created my classroom and the relevant subjects under that classroom. As you can see, my class teacher, Mr. Jackson, teaches both language arts and mathematics. But in the case of library, there's another teacher. The system can handle all of this. So I went ahead and I created my classrooms accordingly. Go ahead and add all your classrooms and add all the relevant subjects under them. Now, At the high school level, we may have form rooms where students do certain subjects together. In this case, I will add in one of those standard subjects. I'll do the same thing for my other 10th grade classroom. The next thing I want to do is account for pools. Now let us say at the grade 10 level, form classes do mathematics as a form class. So grade 10A, all the students in grade 10A will do class together. Grade 10B, all the students in grade 10B will do math together. However, for physics and biology, those classes occur at the same time, and there are subgroups of students from both classrooms that come into that physics class. Well, that is where I would use the pools functionality. I click the Add Pool button, and I create the pool. Let us call it Pool A. I choose which classrooms contribute to that pool. So there's grade 10A, there's grade 10B, meaning students from both could be in class at this time. In the description, I can put which subjects fall in here. Let's say physics, accounts, and chemistry. Go ahead and click Save. Now, I can click the Action button, click Add Subject, and create the subjects. So we do physics, the grade 10 level. Let's do physics here. Let's choose the teacher. And let's say it's 3 times per week. We could have added an optional room if we needed to as well, and we could choose the time of day if we needed. The next subject here is chemistry, grade 10 level. They have to occur the same number of times per week. The teacher is Ms. Smith. And finally, let us add accounts. Grade 10 level. Principles of accounts. Teacher is Ms. Jones. Once again, the number has to be the same. I go ahead and I click Save. Now you'll see my pool has been created. So there may be some students from grade 10A that are in physics, some students from grade 10B that are in physics, other students from grade 10A that are in chemistry, other students from grade 10B that are in chemistry, and likewise, the remaining students from grade 10A may be in accounts, and others would be from grade 10B. That's how my pools are managed. Once I've populated these 4 steps, I'm ready to generate my timetable, but I may want to do a few additional tweaks. So just a quick recap: create your shift, add in your teachers, create rooms if you have any, add in the classrooms. Once you've added the classroom, add the relevant subjects within the classroom, add in any pools if you have it, particularly seen at the secondary school level. Next, you can navigate to the Setup Time Slots option. Here, you can do fine-tune tweaking to individual classrooms as is needed. So the classroom still pulls from the general shift, but maybe at the grade 1 level on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. we don't actually have class. Here, I can do those customizations. I come to Tuesday, I go to 8 a.m., I click on slot 1, and I can block it. So when classes are generated, they will not be generated in this time slot, just for this classroom. For the rest of them, it will continue as expected. make any such tweaks that you need. You also have the option to hide slots altogether. So for example, here in my grade 1 level, there will be no classes between 12 and 1:30. And you can go through each classroom and update accordingly as you need. This step may not be relevant to your school, and it's optional. It's only there if you need to really fine-tune your timetables. Once everything is set, you can go to the Generated Timetables tab. You can click the Generate Timetable button. Let us give it a name. And we click the OK button. That should generate the timetable. Once the timetable is generated, you can click on the Action button and you can view the timetable. You see here we've created a timetable, we've added in any relevant subjects. We can go to our other classrooms as is needed. We can see the subjects there. But let's say you've generated a timetable and it's mostly okay and you wanted to tweak a few things. Well, click the Action button and go to the Edit option. Here, you will see all the classrooms that have been generated, or all the classrooms with all the subjects that have been generated, and you'll be able to move things around as is needed. Maybe I don't like having library at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. Let me move it up. I'm able to do so. Now, if there are any conflicts in the system, you will not be able to move it. So by dragging and dropping into a slot that is already being used for something else, you will encounter an issue. Using this, you can fine-tune your timetable to your liking. There's a little bit of information on the left as well. For example, here, language arts has been assigned 4 out of 5 times, but we want it to happen 5 times a week. So we can come here and we can place it in. Mathematics also needs another slot. Let's put it in. Once I'm happy with my timetable, all I need to do is click the X button. The timetable has been updated. And when I click View now, I will see the updated timetable with all the subjects that I've placed in. If I need to print, simply click the Print button, and the printer dialog will pop up. Once you're happy with your timetable, you can set it active for the current term by clicking the Set Active for Term button. There are a few other options here, such as allowing you to see a master timetable that's generated, as well as teacher timetables. Now, these are the relevant steps to generate your timetable. However, you may want to take a slightly different approach. The final step, or the final alternative option that you need to look at, is generating a blank timetable altogether. Let us call this timetable 1. Refresh the page. Click on the Action button and click Edit. You've now generated a blank timetable with no subjects assigned, and you can simply drag and drop to fill your timetable as you see fit. Either option is fine. It simply depends on the preferences of the person using the timetable generator. You may start with a blank timetable, or you may use our algorithm to generate the timetable and then fine-tune as per your needs. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to the SmartTerm team or to your system administrator. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a good day.